Enterprise's Klingon First Contact subtly copied Star Trek's mirror universe. Two pivotal moments in Star Trek's fictional history share a connection that goes much deeper than one might assume at a glance. The Star Trek timeline is filled with moments that define humanity's future, from Zefram Cochrane discovering warp drive to Star Trek: The Next Generation's cast making first contact with the Borg. As a prequel, Star Trek Enterprise contains its fair share of these landmark moments, with Archer and the gang frequently laying foundations for Starfleet's future. Indeed, one such historical brick was laid in the opening minutes of Star Trek Enterprise's very first episode. Season 1's Broken Bow begins with a farmer shooting a Klingon, later identified as Klong, after the alien's vessel crashes near his property, and this split-second example of shotgun-based violence has a huge ripple effect upon the entire Star Trek universe. The encounter represents first contact between humans and Klingons, kickstarts the Enterprise's journey among the stars, and ultimately triggers a long period of conflict between the two species involved. In addition to the above, Klong finding himself on the wrong end of old McMoore's shotgun also serves to foreshadow a very significant point in Star Trek's mirror universe chronology. Klingon First Contact in Star Trek Enterprise echoes a key mirror universe moment. The problematic first contact between Earth and Konos is almost a perfect mirror of another first contact shown much later in Star Trek Enterprise. The two-part Season 4 story, In a Mirror Darkly, begins with Zefram Cochrane greeting the Vulcans' arrival on Earth, but instead of extending the hand of peace as he does in 1996's Star Trek First Contact movie ending, Mirror, Cochrane whips out a shotgun and blasts the Vulcan ambassador to signal a full-scale attack on the recently landed alien ship. The two scenes are eerily similar, both opening scenes where an alien lands on Earth and almost immediately gets shot in the chest by the first human they clap eyes on. Just like the Klingon example from Broken Bow, Cochrane murdering the representative from Vulcan has long-lasting ramifications for Star Trek's future, representing the beginning of the Terran Empire's sinister reign creeping across the galaxy. From Cochrane first opening fire, the mirror version of humanity later goes on to subjugate the Vulcans, control numerous other planets through fear and force, and spread Terran terror far and wide. In Star Trek Discovery: The Mirror Universe, Philippa Georgiou even reveals that her world's version of First Contact Day celebrates Zefram Cochrane's brutal hello to the Vulcans, and credits the technology gleaned from the stolen Vulcan ship for starting a chain of events that allowed the Terran Empire to gradually take control of planets beyond Earth's solar system. It cannot be a coincidence that Star Trek history contains two separate instances of humanity meeting an alien species for the first time, shooting it on sight, and altering the flow of Earth's development. The comparison between the Klong and Cochrane incidents perhaps serves to highlight how violence and mistrust are, to some degree, inherent traits that exist across all versions of Earth. In one universe, that manifests as a scared farmer firing at a very clearly unhappy alien intruder. In another, it means humans greedily seizing another species' technology and killing those who stand in the way. Star Trek Enterprise, the prequel series to the Star Trek franchise, featured a significant episode involving the first contact between humans and Klingons, a momentous event for the Star Trek universe. In the episode Broken Bow, the Annex-01 crew, led by Captain Jonathan Archer, becomes embroiled in a tense situation with the Klingons that ultimately establishes the often rocky relationship between the United Federation of Planets and the Klingon Empire. However, beneath the surface of this narrative lies a subtle connection to another important element of Star Trek lore, the mirror universe. Although it may not seem obvious at first, the handling of Klingon First Contact in Enterprise subtly echoes the thematic elements and storytelling techniques found in Star Trek's Mirror Universe episodes, particularly in how they depict humanity's encounter with the unknown and the reactions of various factions within those encounters. The Mirror Universe, first introduced in the original Star Trek series episode Mirror, Mirror, is a dark parallel reality where familiar characters exist in a twisted version of the Prime Universe. In this reality, the Terran Empire, a brutal and oppressive regime, has replaced the idealistic United Federation of Planets. Over the years, the Mirror Universe has become a key part of Star Trek's mythos, with its themes of power, corruption, and the moral ambiguities of authority becoming hallmarks of its stories. The parallels between Star Trek Enterprise and the Mirror Universe are most apparent in how the Klingon First Contact event unfolds. particularly in the way it portrays humanity's initial steps into a larger galaxy and the consequences of those steps. The episode Broken Bow begins with the crash landing of a Klingon Klong on Earth, an incident that sets off a chain reaction of events leading to the NX-01's first deep space mission. The human response to this incident is marked by a combination of fear, uncertainty, and ambition, as Starfleet races to return Klong to the Klingon Empire to avoid an interstellar conflict. The Vulcans, who have acted as guides and gatekeepers for humanity's early space exploration, urge caution, suggesting that humanity is not yet ready to handle such delicate diplomacy. This conflict between human ambition and Vulcan caution mirrors the tension between power and restraint that often defines the Mirror Universe stories. In the Mirror Universe, the Terran Empire is driven by an insatiable desire for conquest and domination, traits that are dark reflections of the more optimistic and peaceful aims of the Federation. Yet even in the Prime Universe, early human space exploration is tinged with a sense of aggressive ambition. Archer and his crew are eager to prove themselves, to assert humanity's place among the stars, and to break free from the perceived overreach of Vulcan oversight. This mirrors the Terran Empire's desire to break away from any potential limitations on their expansionist tendencies. Although Archer and his crew are portrayed as fundamentally good, their impatience with the Vulcans and their desire to take control of the situation hints at a more complex undercurrent, one that aligns with the Mirror Universe's themes of unchecked ambition. Additionally, the Klingons themselves play a critical role in connecting the dots between Enterprise and the Mirror Universe. In the Mirror Universe, the Klingons are not simply warriors with a rigid code of honor, as depicted in the Prime timeline. Instead, they are often seen as opportunistic and willing to form alliances with humans, even with the corrupt Terran Empire, if it benefits their interests. This pragmatic approach to power is echoed in the way the Klingons in Enterprise react to their first encounter with humanity. While the initial contact is fraught with danger and potential hostility, the Klingons ultimately recognize the value of engaging with this new species, much as their Mirror Universe counterparts do when aligning with or against the Terrans. The interplay between fear and opportunity, present in both the Prime Universe and the Mirror Universe, is a key theme in Enterprise's depiction of Klingon First Contact. The Klingons, like the Mirror Universe's Terrans, are driven by a pragmatic understanding of strength and weakness. In Broken Bow, the Klingons test humanity's resolve, just as the Mirror Universe characters often test each other's limits to determine who holds the upper hand. This testing of boundaries, both physical and moral, is a hallmark of Mirror Universe stories, where characters constantly jockey for power in a landscape where trust is a rare commodity. Enterprise also borrows another significant narrative device from the Mirror Universe: the importance of perception and misperception in shaping relationships. In the Mirror Universe, characters often manipulate others' perceptions of strength, loyalty, and intent to gain the upper hand. Similarly, in Broken Bow, both the humans and the Klingons misinterpret each other's actions, with Earth's leaders fearing a Klingon invasion and the Klingons viewing